Welcome to D Australia. Check this out. It's the new Composite-ARF Edge 540, 2.6 metres. It's been out for a little while now, but there's not a heck of a lot of them around. It's a fine looking aeroplane. I've got to say, I like this a lot, particularly because it's not an extra rehashed to look like an Edge. It's been built from the ground up, and the design team's done a really good job on it. Not only does it look like an Edge, the whole thing looks remarkably good. It's all composite materials, as per always with Composite-ARF. They've changed a few things on this model which we should talk about. The ailerons on these now are no longer a part of the top skin of the wing. They're no longer attached. They're centre pin hinged, and we can go over that, and I'll show you over that a little bit later as we go through it. What we'll do is we'll take a few components off, we'll go over this thing top to bottom, and you can have a look through it and see what you think. But I think the colour scheme's quite striking. I like it a lot. First up, I think what we'll do is I'll get Mark to come on over and we'll open up the canopy, and you can have a quick look inside. There's not a lot inside this plane. It's fairly vacant when you have a look in there. Now this is almost complete. I just haven't put the receiver in it, but this is running one servo on all surfaces. So one on each aileron, one on the rudder, and one on each elevator half. So consequently the whole thing looks a little vacant inside. But the other thing you'll notice too is the tank tray, he sits quite high on this one because the wing on the whole aircraft is very high. It's a high set wing on this chap, and as is normal with edges, which distinguishes them from away from extras, etc., it's got a straight leading edge. But you'll notice the tank tray sits really high. There's not a lot of room between here and the top of the canopy frame. So what Comp-ARF have done on this one is the whole tank tray is removable. There's a little cradle under here which you can lift the whole tank tray off to help you get up the front here to do it any kind of work if you have to do any kind of maintenance there. Now everything on this one is in there bar the receiver, so the ignition batteries, the ignition, the receiver batteries are all up the front. So what we'll do is we'll take the front off there, we'll have a look inside, and we'll show you how it's all put together. Alright, here we are. We just, as you can see, the cowl on the Edge is a split cowl, which is very similar to all the 3 metre models that they normally make. It makes access to your engine bay quite simple and straightforward. Up the front here we have the DA120, which has been fitted up. And as you can see, there's plenty of room in here. They actually tested the prototype on these with a 150 in it now. The thing was quite ballistic with a 150, but you can see the 120 will haul us around without any problems at all. It's got fairly long standoffs on this. It'll take a wide variety of engines, so you've got a fair amount of choices you can put in here. Now, you see the headers are all down in there, all fit in there. There's acres of room inside the cowl. It's not excessively difficult to get everything in there. As you can see, I've fitted a couple of rubber grommets here for the high tension leads to go through so they don't rub around and rub onto the cowl. It's fairly important you don't have these rubbing around on the side of the cowl, eating away the braid, etc. So try and secure them in places. I mean, even if you put a little clip here and hold it in place, all that kind of stuff's fine. And of course my obligatory fuel filter is fitted as well. Also you can get easy access to it. Now up the front here you'll see I've got a couple of access holes that I've put into this. Now one thing to keep in mind, do not put these holes here if you're running the cans as I have here, unless you build a tray like I have at the front here. Now that tray there has been glued in and secured all across the front here, so it ties the whole front of the engine dome. I don't advise putting extra holes in there when you've got the canisters going in there as well. It can significantly weaken the dome. You really need to make sure you put this tray in here to tie the whole thing together. Now you'll see with this I have the ignition battery, the ignition and both RX batteries up the front here, and the power box kill switch. You need to get the weight as far forward as possible on this model to try and get the CG correct. So I've shifted everything up the front, and these little holes make it quite easy to get in there, particularly seeing as I was saying before, the tank tray it gets in the way a little bit. It's a little bit harder to work on. But like I said, don't put these in unless you're prepared to put a tray in there and glue it to the sides of the engine dome. It ties it all together and keeps the thing nice and solid and tight. Now if you don't put a tray in there, you can simply zip tie all your batteries up the front there. You'll have no problems at all. As you can see, we've got KS86 cans down inside there. Plenty of room for those. We haven't had to open up the cowl in any particular way, and we're running a 5-inch spinner off the front of this. Alright, the wing, as I was saying before, it's got a massive aileron on it, and as you can see it's also got this aerodynamic balance at the front there, which is unusual for Comp-ARF. They don't normally run these kind of things, but as the Edge requires it, there it is. But they've also moved away on this model from the top skin hinge system that they used to run. Now they run a separate hinge pin system all the way through. As you can see, it's got quite large travel on here. It'll move a long way, and I'll show you how you can get the aileron off and give you a look at the workings of it. Now it runs a pin right down the centre here, so we'll pull that pin out. That should help us get the aileron right out. It's quite a long pin. Now the pin supplied is brass, which is really good. It'll help with the wear. Just move that out of the way. And there we have the inner workings of it. Now, as you can see, this means also now that the wing and the aileron are all centre hinged now, not top hinged like they used to be, so your differential will be more normal as with your normal style of models. Comp-ARFs normally run a negative differential. You actually increase the throw down than you do up. You won't need to do that with this model. As you can see, it's all quite different. These are all hinge plates going all the way down the bottom there. Whether this is a major advantage to anybody, not really sure, but it's quite different. I like the way they do it. It works quite neat. You'll also see that it is a single aileron servo only. They don't run multiple servos on this. So particularly you want to run a pretty good servo on this lot. This has got Futaba BLS 152s in it. They're a 31 kilo servo. They're very powerful, but for that size of aileron you want something pretty powerful. Comp-ARF also suggests you put a little bit of mass balancing in here in the aerodynamic balance. We put 20 grams of lead up the front here just to assist the servo a little bit to help reduce any possibility of flutter. We're also running Seacraft aluminium turnbuckles and Seacraft alloy arms on it. Right, there's a stab on it. They're pretty similar to all the other Extra and all the other Comp-ARF stabs that have been out before. Same as the aileron, they've got a centre pin going through for the hinging on that. It's pretty straightforward. We're using BLS 152s, as I was saying, on the elevators on these as well. 30 kilos probably more than you need, but better be sure than be sorry. Also running Seacraft turnbuckles and Seacraft arms on it, the SWB or Seacraft. Both of these will fit quite fine. It's a pretty standard kind of build operation, pretty similar to most of the other ones on the Comp-ARF. Inside the airframe, there's plenty of room, but there's not a lot of equipment inside this model. It's running 5 servos, one on each surface, as I was saying before. I've also elected to use just one servo on the rudder. As you can see, I've had to move the tray quite a bit forward. The standard position is back here, just at the start of the turtle deck. We shifted it forward to try and assist with the C of G. It's an easy job, pretty simple to do. It's quite kind of neat. Now I'm running SWB arm on this with straight pull cables. Now whether they're straight or they're crossed, I don't really care that much, to be honest, but I went straight with this model simply because it moved the exit guides, the exit holes for the cables further up the fuselage and away from the rear former. Otherwise they would have got fouled on the rear former, so I elected to run them straight. Now on the fuel tank on this one, it's a 32 ounce. Normally I run up to a 40 ounce on a DA120. 32 ounces is plenty. It's enough for 12-15 minute flight without too much question, but in this particular aircraft you won't get a 40 ounce in there. It'll hit the top of the canopy frame. You need to run with the 32 ounce tank on that one. Also I've elected to run a Powerbox base log on this one, which is effectively just a dual regulator system. It'll run 2 power leads here from here to a 14 channel receiver. I can get away with a 12 channel or an 8 channel receiver particularly, but everything will be just run through the receiver, through the Powerbox base log, which it gives me, I can run all my lithium polymer, lithium phosphates through and lithium ions through there without any problems. So essentially it's quite a simple build. It's a pretty straightforward aircraft, looks fantastic. I hope to give you a flight report soon.